love and know my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let the world shout you loud and thunder. If I mele under, I've been the wonder. How I got this lover. You set me free like a lava. Got the peace like I. Oh, the way you love me like a this, like a this, like a that. I just want to love you like it. I give to you my love and know my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let the world shout you loud and thunder. If I mele under, I've been the wonder. How I got this lover. You set me free like a lava. Got the peace like I. Oh, the way you love me like a this, like a this, like a that. I give to you my love and know my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let the world shout you loud and thunder. If I mele under, I've been the wonder. How I got this lover. You set me free like a lava. Got the peace like I. Oh, the way you love me like a this, you my love and know my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let the world shout you loud and thunder. If I mele under, I've been the wonder. How I got this lover. Give to you my love and know my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let the world shout you loud and thunder. If I mele under, I've been the wonder. How I got this lover. You set me free like a lava. Got the peace like I.
Okay. Wow. Good day, everyone. This is Dash, actually the most outstanding Yekebu Pepperini. I've not good my introduction now. Good day, everyone. This is Dash, actually the most outstanding Yekebu Africanicious adrenaline pumping and physical husband. And as usual, I have beside me my most beautiful, scintillating pepperoni sugarlicious hot baby girl.
Good day, everyone. It's a pleasure to have you on this live stream. Thank you very much.
Okay, and we can see that we have Professor on board today. So, Professor, if you are able to join if you can join us live on in the studio, I said on the studio. If you can join us live in the studio, you are welcome to our usual. Join us live. You are welcome to our usual live stream, Sunday live stream. Okay, you can join us live via this link. Today we are discussing something so outstanding, and the fourth question we might be asking ourselves is exactly this slide I have put forward here, which is asking ourselves this question: is Paul Kagame, as his name is pronounced, Paul Kagame of Rwanda, is he really a dictator in Africa? If we are to ask you for your opinion about this African ruler, would you say is a dictator? Or will you say he's somebody that is putting forward a protective arm around his people? So today we are going to go a little bit in depth to really analyze who Paul Kagame is. And everybody's entitled to his own opinion. If you know much about him, if you have a particular angle of view about him, and you can substantiate it and what is happening in Rwanda and the neighboring African countries, please feel free to share with us. You can join us live here as we look at this important discourse today, because Paul Kagame is a child of historical reoccurrence, and as such, the story starts now. Okay, so who is going first? Is it myself or my wife? Okay, she wants me to go first. Men first. So far, it's not involving money or food. Okay, to start with, you are welcome to today's live stream. When we ask this question, who actually is Paul Kagame? Or if you go online and you type, who is Paul Kagame? I'm sure lots of information that will pop out. We already paint a picture about this man to you to a particular angle, either to the right or to the left. But I found out that majority of the publication about Paul Kagame has been tilting towards the left side, in which a lot of is as if they want to even change the dictionary of the word dictatorship to his name. But are we just going to adopt what we are seeing that is being painted in our on our face just like that? Are we not just going to sit back and say, you know what? The principle of a successful living is having the opportunity to place yourself in someone's shoes by doing what? Being unbiased, to look to the right, to the left, to evaluate the situation, to confirm by yourself, and to make sure you are convinced that somebody that is being called a specific name is actually who he or she is, or who they are. My little findings and my little kind of thinking is always not like the way every other person's will always perceive life. Maybe because I've had a fair share of life experiences that has taught me some lessons. And that is why I embarked on some research with respect to who Paul Kagame is. To start with, Paul Kagame has the bloodline of kingship, royalty, monarchy, monarchical lifestyle, and the likes. Secondly, Paul Kagame is a child of destiny. Thirdly, Paul Kagame is a child that have gone through hell on earth. He has seen death face to face. He has seen chaos. He has gone through challenges of life that has made him to build a mindset that you might never understand. And as such, looking at his story, he happened to be from the tribe, because in Rwanda, before you talk about Paul Kagame, you cannot do so without looking at Rwanda as a place, as a country, as a place, a country in Africa that houses three major tribes. Who are those tribes? Or what tribes are we talking about? We are talking about the Hutus, that constitute about 85% of the populace, and you are talking about the Tutsis. The Tutsis have about they are the minority, but they have about 14% of the population in that country. Then the Twa, who happens to just be about 1%. Now, having just three tribes, I laugh because here in Nigeria, where I am from, we have over 200 ethnic groups, more than 200 ethnic groups. And the Rwanda we are talking about today is around the population of 13 million, not even up to the size of Lagos. Let's push that aside. Now, this particular tribe, they were living together, they were enjoying their life, they were bonding together until some elements showed up. The element that has showed up in numerous parts of the African continent to cause chaos, to cause mayhem, to cause more evil than good. Why do they usually perpetrate this? They perpetrate this just by what? Operating in the principle that is embedded in the doctrine of the laws of power, divide and rule. They came into their territory, and what did they do? They started concentrating on how to make each tribe to begin to see each other as competition for something that is not there. They started by inscribing marks upon the faces of the people to show that these are the Hutus and these are the Tutsis and these are the Twa.
Prior to that, it was the Tutsis that were reigning, as in they were the monarchy. They had a monarchy rule in Rwanda then, and it was the minority Tutsi, the agricultural Tutsi, that were ruling there, and there was peace. But when Belgium took over from Germany, the colonial masters, they started the real introduction of segregating marks between the Tutsis and the Hutus. They went as far as inscribing these marks so that you will know that when you see this is a Hutu and this is a Tutsi, and they ganged up an uproar just to overthrow the Tutsi from ruling, from having that monarchy rule. They helped the Tutsi.
Before you start going too far, the simple thing is somebody showed up. Somebody showed up with a what? With a marker.
Yes.
To work on the mindset of the people that have been cohabiting together peacefully, having their monarchical system of rulership, which is the same system that is practiced by the English people. After all, our madam that just passed away last year, Olori Oko Bam Bam, the Queen of England, ruled England for over 70 years, or let's just say 70 years. The Hutus, the Tutsis, and the Twa people were living very, very relatable. Because for them to even allow the minority group to be the one in charge of the rulership, that means that they might not really have the mindset of, this is not my people, this is different. But until somebody showed up and began to paint on the faces of the people using metals to inscribe on the forehead of the people that were existing there till you came with your wahala. Wahala means trouble. Now, before you know it, they began to do what we call brooding of the mind. That is now making a change of mindset, a psychological warfare between the three tribes. Then competition that is unhealthy set in. And that was how there was a gang up, a rising up, an opera, whatever you call it, that led to the what? To the killing, to the dismantling of the relationship that was formerly cordial. They oust the then monarch system that is being headed by the Tutsis. The Hutus felt marginal. The Hutus felt cheated, and they sent everything in uproar. And that was the beginning of the cookies crumbling. It was at this period that the lives of the Tutsis were at an edge, because the young man that we are talking about here is from that lineage of the Tutsis that were ruling Rwanda then.
They were sent into exile.
And they were sent into exile.
In Uganda, they were sent as in
They were sent into exile in Uganda. And now, when this young man growing up in the refugee camps, do you know what it means to grow up in refugee camps? It means you are neither here nor there. You are in a country that is not yours. Okay, I think we have Dr. Ojo on ground. Welcome, Dr. Ojo.
welcome, sir.
Yeah, good evening, guys.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, sir.
So it was, I'm giving the background of this, our discourse this evening. It was at this period that the young man began to see a lot of marginalization. In short, he was born into a world that is filled with marginalization. And because there is this royal blood, so to say, flowing inside of him, just like the ancient Moses, he was fighting, because this guy started as being very brilliant even while he was in the what's it called,
Refugee
in
camp
the refugee
in
camp in
Uganda.
their primary school in Uganda. He was among the best three, and there was a law there that states that the best three will be what, given scholarship and sponsored to the secondary school, upper school, and the likes. But because he was not a Ugandan, that's a lesson point for us. Because by the time I become the president of this country, any African youth, regardless of where you are coming from, you will be treated to benefit. So far, you are the team that will profit Africa, not just the mushrooms that they broke us into. Now, this young man was so intelligent, but because of this, it wasn't granted this scholarship of a teen. And his father, having a relationship with the Belgium friends and the likes, was able to sponsor this child in upper education. This was how this boy was growing.
He was sent out of school.
And because he saw how his people were cheated or maltreated, rather, how his people were maltreated, how people are talking about them as if they are nobody in Uganda, he was crazy, and he fought several times defending his people. That was the period that made him to start going down in grades, and he was expelled from several schools, but he managed to finish. When you are brilliant, no matter the stupidity of anybody that is in charge of your economic welfare. This was later discovered, and his relationship with his friend who was in the military, everything summed up to what? Ladder for him to climb and show what he has upstairs. I just wanted to tell you to talk about this background of this young man so that you will know that he passed through pain. He passed through segregation. he passed through being looked down at. Now,
He
let's
passed
step.
through the masters that want to turn the world around. He knows their gimmicks. He knows
Now,
what they are up to.
it was at this particular point that he was grafted into the army and the likes, and because the love for his motherland was still there. At
Grafted into
the end of the
Ugandan
day, he was drafted into the Ugandan army, and because he was so outstanding, he studied espionage, how to gather informations and the likes, intelligence gathering and the likes. They saw this raw talent in this young man, and he was sponsored out to the United States to go for a further training. Is this guy we are talking about, let me call him this boy that we are talking about now, is also being trained by the people that we know that have good intentions for Africans. I won't talk more than that. Now, he was trained by those who have the mindset most of the time of seeing Africa as a place where they can always our resources and even mind our human resources to develop their own side. But as fate will have it, there was a genocide that broke up in 1994 I'm fast forwarding, in Rwanda. But prior to this young man has seen a lot that is happening in his country with his friend, and they decided to form a committee of armies to invade. They wanted to invade Rwanda so that they can put an end to whatever they think that is wrong according to them. But while he was out of the country, his friend was killed. He came back to meet up with a set of soldiers that were remaining, and he led them into the battle line. So it's just to tell you that this guy has been in battle most of his life. Now, to cut the long story short, in 1994, the genocide in Rwanda was going on, and the whole world played dumb, played deaf, paid little or no attention. Oh, you're not Africans. Let them kill themselves. Who wonder? Whose God is God? After speaking of the grammar, about 1 million lives were killed within 100 days. Were lost. 100 days. Because statistics has it that every day a minimum of 10,000 plus were being killed, and this kind of killing was machete. That means the person is not yet dead. They are macheting the person until life gets out of that person. It took this young man and his group of soldiers, it took him and his group of soldiers, the RPF, to invade the country using what we call the psychological warfare tactics, to invade the country while the Hutus were busy, the strange Hutus, because I don't want to say it's not all the Hutus, because some of the Hutus were also hiding some of these Tutsis, preventing them from being killed. But the extremist Hutus were killing human beings and calling them cockroach. The whole world did not do anything for 100 days. What are they waiting for? But if it is to rush down, to come and pack mineral resources, they have all the gadgets to do that quickly. Now, this young man came in and defeated this blood-sucking set of Hutus, not the general Hutus. And one would have thought, oh, him taking over the rulership, whether as a vice president or as a commander-in-chief or what have you, whatever accolades, and minister of defense or whatever, taking over, you would have expected that as an African man, retaliation should be the next thing. No, he was that intelligent, he was that good, that he ended up doing the reverse, making sure that tribal sentiment was washed up, making sure that the people now live in harmony. Now, he went back to the source of the challenge, which is what? Reprogramming their mind. Reprogramming the mind of the Hutus and the Tutsis and the Twa to see themselves not as all those tribes, but as Rwandians. Is it Rwandians they call it? Rwandese. Okay? They now see themselves as Rwandese. And I remember our first travel when our plane touched down at Kigali.
Yes.
My God, you need to see these people. They have this kind of beauty. There's a way they talk that you will just fall in love with them. I'm sure Nigerians would like to get married to Rwandese. They have this character. I can see the way their airports were, because we had stopover there and the lights. I saw no. The little experience I had there, I was like, wow. So this is the place where they killed millions of people, and this is the character they now have now. Rwanda Air, they have it.
They are making it.
I don't want to talk too much because when I'm even looking at that, I'm annoyed with the place I'm calling my own country. Now, have it at the back of your mind. This president or this young boy or this young man changed the course of Rwanda to what it is today. Now, the same place where millions of lives, over 1 million lives were lost, that same place is now serving as where I'm going to be showing you some video. I think agricultural summit in somewhere. They had to call this president to come and tell them how he's doing it in Rwanda. They are saying Rwanda is one of the cleanest countries in the world.
And safest in Africa.
Safest in Africa. Meaning that you can go to sleep with your eyes closed. Close your eyes here, you know, show you. You will need to tell the story. Now, even in America, close your eyes. Even in UK now, are they not stealing phones, breaking glasses and the likes? We'll still come to that story. Now, this country is making waves. Their public schools are now more preferred to private school. People are now going to private school to go and pull out their children and put them into their public school because the public school is making more sense than the private school. Is that not brilliant? Everything seems to be working for Rwanda. And there was even a time I was seeing, I think I saw drone. They are using drone to disperse maybe medicine or something. Rwanda. But the only thing that I knew growing up was Hotel Rwanda that was shot. And we also come to that story because the person that was like the hero in that hotel in Rwanda, we are made to understand that something is happening. That's another side we will go to because we need to have a balanced story. Wow, so sorry for that break. I think we lost connection at a point there. Now, this same Rwanda that was known for genocide and everything that is bad is now the same Rwanda that is coming out sweet and sharp and making Africa proud today. Their military setting is top notch. They are advancing, immersing, they are doing well to the extent that every citizen, almost 98% of their population, their citizens, have what? Universal health care. Life expectancy there has doubled. Everything is flowing. The economy is growing. It is now the fastest growing country in Africa. But all of a sudden, Kagame is now dubbed a dictator. The question is Kagame really a dictator? How do we determine a dictator? That is the question I'm going to be putting forward to Dr. Ojo. So, Dr. Ojo, over to you now before I continue in my storyline, because I need to balance this story. To you, in your own view, who do you take Kagame for? Is he actually a dictator? How do you feel about him?
That's that's a that's a funny question. I don't know. I mean, I've not been following their news so much.
Okay.
But of course, everybody is privy to the fact that they had the genocide of 93, 94, which was very brutal. And he came as the savior, as the angel, or what do we call him, and ended the genocide. And he was able to rebuild the country, transform it to what it is right now that everybody's proud of. So I think a good job to him for doing that. And I mean, his credit cannot be attained or achieved without the support of Netherlands that have been giving aids and all kind of support to him for a long time. So maybe that's also influenced his success. Yeah, it was really bad that while the genocide was going on, nobody was able to come to rescue from across the world, and which is the point where I will try to answer your question from the angle I will try to answer your question for. I don't know if it's a dictatorship or if it's a dictator or not. And I don't know what the criteria is to determine who's a dictator or not. But the question I will ask is, whoever is bringing those accusations or pushing that agenda forward of him being a dictator, I would like to probably, if someone can recall history, to tell us what their position was during the genocide, and how they tried, if they tried to intervene, and what's the basis, on what basis are they saying he's a dictator right now. Of course, the success he has achieved, of course, is probably not without some errors and mistakes, either intentionally or unintentionally. I don't know. But from findings, we know that there is a alleged accusation that the legal system, the justice system, the press, that they are not really free, they are not independent, and they are unable to expose probably what the government is doing wrong to the public. They are not able to, like, say something openly without getting kidnapped, arrested, punished, and stuff like that. So that might be the basis for which those that are accusing you of being a dictator, that might be the angle they are coming from. And it's obvious Africa is a different country from among the countries of the world. It's obvious, and the people of Africa are different. So uh, it's okay to talk about the rule of law. It's okay to talk about the justice system, but we also know that majority of the African country, they probably need stronger hands in term of leadership and stuff like that. It's not going to be compared to the West, where the legal system is really effective and working, and they definitely have accountability of their people in terms of knowing like what the actual population is and where who is at every point in time. You can compare that to most African countries where anyone can leave and come in anytime. Nobody really know what's going on. To the remotest part of the countries or the continent. So in such a situation, for him to have been that successful, it must have been that the style of leadership, the strategy has used, though may be very strict and strong, and probably doesn't allow free media and press, and probably the legal system is not as free. Probably that's what has helped him to achieve the success he has achieved. And for the success to continue, if that's the formula he has used, then he probably has to continue with that, or he probably has to take a little bit of time to adopt a system that can be well respected without going back to where they were in the past. So those are the questions that we can also think about, and we can also debate and look into to see what the system of government is practicing, and to see what are the reasons why they are accusing him of being a dictator, and is he actually a dictator. But of course, kudos to him for transforming the country to what it is right now, from genocide, where a lot of people were killed, dead body flowing on waters, laying all over the place and stuff like that, to now becoming a country that is fast growing, beautiful, and with a lot of success and credit, from that part of the continent of Africa. So so I will let you continue from that before I continue to say other things as well.
You asked the question that what is their perception about him? What they feel that made them come up with that allegation, as in different countries that are coming up and people that are saying he's a dictator. So when you go online, like Google search, you see, if you ask of Paul Kagame or who is ruling, what's it called, Rwanda, you are going to see the system of rulership there. They will tell you is unitary system of government with an authoritarian president. Do you understand that Kagame is an authoritarian president, and most of the time they even say he's a dictator? But what you just said that made me really, really, as in that touched me, was you said if that is the system that's been working there, maybe one thing that is making them to call him an authoritarian, as in a dictator, is that there is no freedom of press. Those in the opposition party, they are imprisoned, this and that, and people are not given freedom to express themselves. But when we now consider who are these and what is their agenda, what is actually their intention, do they have the right motives? We should be sincere to ourselves and go down deep. So when he first came into power, as per my findings, the first thing he went into was just to change the mindset of the people. Just like we also advocate here in our foundation, that if you want to change Africa, you have to start by changing me, and by changing my mindset, by changing the youth, by transforming them. That's the caption we have. So that was the first thing he went to do, because these people that colonized them, they make sure that they divided them. It was just the divide and rule tactics that they used, and using inscriptions to divide them. You are Hutu, you are Tutsi, you are Twa, and just like that. So when he came back, he came to rebuilding them, calling them together that we are one, so you should never. And he set up strict policies that are really, really against tribalism in the public place. So they have strict policies that if you do anything, strict laws against tribalism, they are going to imprison you. And while I was searching, one of the journalists that was in prison, when these people are already healing, I even saw a video where a Utsi family and a Tutsi family, the father of, I think the father killed the mother of the other one. They were into a relationship before.
The father of the groom.
Yes.
The father of the groom killed the parents of the bride.
So, and they were into relationship before the genocide. So he said when Kagame came into power, they taught them to forgive. Do you understand? They learned about forgiveness. They forgive each other. They took time to heal, and they still got wedded. So one of the journalists now came on board and now said that if you as a Utsi is marrying a Tutsi, it might be a danger in disguise. And he was imprisoned.
Dr. Ojo, I wouldn't know if you listen to that very well, but before we go, let's just welcome Omar Hakim. We'll come back to that. Remember that point. Omar Hakim says, how is he a dictator when Kigali is Africa's cleanest city? He's made Rwanda a safe place to live after the genocide. He fights against outside influences who wants to rekindle the war between the tribes. I love you, Omar Hakim. This is the first time I'm seeing Omar Hakim.
We love this. We love this. Please come on board.
I would really love you to come on board, because it's not just about people just reading something up there, because it's some people that have more access to publish something on Google, to update something and make a search engine to favor it. Let's just be wise.
Let me continue.
Okay, now.
So let me continue.
Yeah.
So how will people are still healing, they are forgiving each other, they are trying to come together as one, just like the Igbos, they want to forget the Biafran war, and the Yorubas, like where I am from in Nigeria, we are trying to heal. You now come in and say, it is the Igbos that killed the Fulanis, or the Hausas, or the Yorubas. You are trying to rekindle that fire again.
Sorry, please. I want you to say exactly what that young man published that made them to imprison.
Yes, he published that if you as an Hutu man is getting married to a Tutsi, you are it may be danger in disguise or something like that. So he's trying to say they should not come together. They should be separated. They should still keep the tribal war. And they imprisoned him. Although I think they released him. And I think an investigator from outside came. Do you understand? Going through
an Al Jazeera reporter
yes.
came in to do a documentary.
Yes.
And it was from there when he was now talking about what's it called? About the situation that Kagame is being labeled as what's it called?
A dictator.
That he now cited the example of that journalist that he was in prison. Now, upon further querying, why were you in prison? Look at
what you published.
The person that was in prison said it himself, that he did a publication saying that it might be dangerous to go into marriage with a Tutsi, Tutsi female. What? How will you ever write anything that is close, not even like this, that is close to such kind of information? Do you know what it means? Before you know it, psychologically, people, before war happens physically, people are already at war in their heart. So now, if we do not have general overview of this kind of information, that means somebody will just pick it and begin to run with it. Oh, Kagame is a dictator.
No,
he imprisons what's it called?
I'm minding the fact that Kagame read intelligence gathering.
Yeah.
Yes, all these people that is opponents, that are from the opposition parties, the women that he has imprisoned, and I don't know much about them, although it's very, very sad that those that ran for presidency
Yeah.
with him, imprisoned them, did this. I'm not supporting it. But the thing is, let's call a spade a spade. You know, just like Dr. Joe said, maybe as in maybe it's privy to some information about these people that just come from any other place. So one came from outside the country that just come and want to take over. Maybe it's privy to the fact that these people might be used by these so-called people that we are not called. We don't want to call their name against the peace that is here. And maybe as for now, he hasn't seen somebody of integrity. I know the challenge we have in Africa is integrity. Once you are able to buy over the puppet that the people over there have been using to destabilize us, once they are able to say, Mr. Setro, this take this for you, take it. So once they are able to give Mr. Setro something, Mr. Setro is going to keep quiet. That was how they were able to continue the slave trade until Moby came up, the son of Moby.
Let me say this. Anybody, I have this mindset already. Anybody that is always loved by the Western powers that be careful of them.
So this hotel Rwanda man too, they are always saying, why is Kagame not going to release him? This, that, he has so many people during the genocide, this. And you know these people that we are talking about, that when they are doing you, on Manipe, if you don't understand that Yoruba, I'm so sorry. When rats are eating your leg here in Africa, they'll still be blowing you hair, and you wouldn't know when they'll finish eating your leg. And that's what these people are known for. They'll be giving you something, they'll be frontiering as if they are doing you good, but from the back, they are killing you. And so maybe for this man that read intelligence gathering, and for crying out loud, they even trained him. He went abroad, he was trained by them. And most of the time, he even says, I know what you're up to. And Dr. Joe said that if he knows that this, just keeping this freedom, no freedom. After all, in Nigeria, there was a time they took away our Instagram freedom. Dr. Joe, Shebi, you were aware. They did not allow us, we were not connected to Instagram. Our leader. He said we should not go on Instagram. You were aware of it. They banned Instagram in Nigeria.
Twitter. Was it Twitter too?
No, it was Twitter. It was Twitter. So not Instagram. So sorry. They banned Twitter. So and we did not die. We did not die, and that was what our leader wanted.
But it was wrong.
No, yes, that one was wrong. Yes, that was wrong because it was not achieving anything. There was no achievement in Nigeria. There was no. Don't let me talk too much.
Yeah, it was because they were using that as a means of spreading fake news and whatnot. Yes. So those tools are good, but it depends on the purpose it's used for. But the thing is, there's always an enemy of progress, and that is where Africa needs to grow to a point where the form of education is very effective to actually communicate the real and proper and good intent, right, to the people, so that the people are not misled. Because in this age of information, of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and the likes of it, right, the enemy, the bad ones, the opposition party, and the enemy of the progress of Africa are also using those tools and those platforms to work against the continent and the nation. So it's now imperative, it's very important for the leadership to understand that and to be able to find a way of educating their own community and their society, not to be carried away to join in that kind of campaign that can be used against the system. So, but the major thing, like I want to just really stress and point out, is that we already know that Africa as a continent, as a continent, and African countries as individual nation or countries, there are enemies. They have enemies. They have enemies, whether we like it or not. So, and we all also understand that the strategy and tactics of the enemy from ages past has always been distraction, manipulation, and isolation, and chaos and all those kind of stuff. So that should say a lot. We are not in the age of fighting and jumping up and down, taking gun and cutlass any longer. It doesn't make sense. Anyone that's still thinking in that direction is really, really behind. We're in the age of intelligence, in the age of uh, uh, you know, knowledge, right? Age of information, right? And as such, it's very, very important for one to be focused. If the leadership are not focused, they can easily be distracted. So
Exactly.
for Rwanda, that is as attained this level of achievement, record history of achievements, being the cleanest country, being one of the fast growing country in Africa. They were able to get out of their mess, get out of genocide and whatnot. Of course, it's not without a cost to them. A lot of people died. So many are in jail right now from the opposition party. Probably they are guilty or not, or whatever the issue is. But the leadership need to stay focused. You don't, like I always say, we don't have control about what other people do. We don't. People can come out and say whatever they want. They can call you Mr. Cetro, say you're a dictator. They can even say, everything that the Cetro Foundation is doing for the youth is for X, Y, Z. That's okay. Anybody can say anything. But the most important thing is for the leadership that has good intention and is doing good to stay focused and not give room for any negativity or any propaganda that is not genuine. But how do you stay focused? It's part of the education that need to be passed down to the youth, to the citizen, of the tactics that the enemy has used in the past that they are likely to use, and not to embrace such when it occur and when it happen. And there's no need of wasting energy and time on what's not important when there is a lot of stuff that is important that need to be achieved and need to be accomplished, right? So that's my own recommendation for them. Of course, it's very, very impossible that there are areas that need to be addressed in terms of the freedom of the press, giving independence, giving independence to the justice system and the likes of it. But a country like that have gone through whatever they have gone through, they also need to have a way of achieving their own goal in their own way that is suitable and work well for them. You can't begin to operate in the level that the Western nation are operating right now when you still have the memory of genocide that is still very fresh.
Exactly.
And you still have a lot of people that are still under trial and in prison for genocide and the likes of it, and then they still have supporters that are probably still trying to discredit the achievement of the present government. So we cannot be ignorant of all those tactics. Therefore, whatever work well for the country should be, should be embraced and sustained while they work diligently to refine and resolve whatever issue that is going on, and easing up whatever area that need to be easing up. Because without that kind of a authoritarian and a strong leadership style, it probably wouldn't have achieved so much success that he has achieved so far. So it might be too early to kind of loosen up completely, because then the enemy is just around the corner. And if African country is rising, it's to the discredit and to the how do I put it now? A lot of other countries probably wouldn't like that, around the world. So, and if there are people that benefit from African continent, from African countries, and now those have been taken away. It's like, it's just like business. So if somebody's going to take your customer and stuff like that, take your, you're not going to be just happy with that, right? You probably want to, So we have to be very, very conscious of all those facts too. So, and it's necessary that the leadership be smart and wise, and not to spend their energy and resources on things that doesn't really make sense. And it's not even important to fight back or anything or say anything back. It's just focus and mind your own business and do things in such a way to benefit your people. As long as the people are okay and they are happy and there's fairness and justice in the system, I mean, the rest can be taken care of with time.
Wow. Okay,
It's
with that, I would like to say this quickly. For the Rwandese, I will implore them to be very, very, very skeptical, to be very, very careful, so that the peace, the relative peace they have in their country now, the relative growth they have in their country now, they shouldn't get used to it. They shouldn't get used to it. They should remember what they have been through at the point in time where they needed the rest of the world. Everybody, including African countries around them, shut their doors. When I mean shut their doors, they didn't do much to help them. They didn't go far to help them until they themselves decided to help themselves. They should remember it is the Rwandese that have gathered themselves together to redevelop, redefine Rwanda. Because the history has it that those Rwandese in diaspora, they were the ones funding Kagame's what's it called program to make sure that they deliver the country from the genocide that was going on. So kudos to you, Rwandese, and please note that there is no way anyone cannot go wrong in one point or the other. But always look at the larger view, because what we are saying today, remember there is a country that you should not forget so soon. That was how Libya was pulled down. And whenever they talk about press freedom is good, but please let us always look at the common good of the nation, of the people, because it is still the same press freedom that some persons are always reverberating in our ears. But we know what so many of these press, especially this international press, what they are doing in Africa. Most of the time, it is the bad news about Africa that they magnify. They bring in their giant microscope and they so loud it that subconsciously Africans are beginning to think that they cannot do better. But the tides are changing now. And I want Rwandese, just remember Libya before you do anything. And remember, the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know. And for Kagame, my little address is that he should also, with his cabinet, he should look at areas that he needs to improve. He's doing well in so many areas, but any other area that improvement can come in, it should be improved. And one thing that baffled me, I think I need to share a video with us. I just want us to watch this video about agriculture, because this guy came in and he was doing some fantastic job in agriculture. Let's just look at this.
Situation is already fragile due to low productivity and trade barriers. Climate change is making the challenge even more difficult. However, solutions to these challenges are known and within our means. Transforming agriculture in Africa is an urgent task. No one can be satisfied with subsistence. Agribusiness can be a pathway to prosperity for African families. First, we need to improve our research capacity. Agriculture may be humanity's most ancient economic activity, but modern food production is based on science and technology. Just like the smartphones we all use. We need to strengthen partnerships to tap into successful innovations to produce more food at affordable prices and with less environmental impact. In Rwanda, we are investing in climate smart technologies and collaborating closely with regional institutions, development partners, and the private sector. Second, we need to trade more with each other. The African Continental Free Trade Area widens the scope of opportunity for African business, agribusiness to reach its full potential. For too long, our continent imported food that we are capable of producing ourselves, simply because of internal trade barriers, among other things. Third, we need to convince our youth that agribusiness is a good career. In Rwanda and elsewhere in Africa, we have been encouraged to see an increasing number of young graduates dedicating themselves to agriculture and making good money out of it.
Okay, just like you mentioned now, you can see the way a leader of an African country should be reasoning. He's talking about agriculture, and before you could say Jack Robinson, he's bringing it out and pointing it to the direction of strength, which is the youth. The capacity of Africa lies in their youth that have been always neglected in terms of agriculture, because these are the youths that are coming with technologies, that are coming with ideas, that are coming with skills, that are coming with the research and technical know-how on how to increase the productivity in agriculture. And these are the right way we should be thinking in Africa. And I will just jump to this World Economic Forum in Nepal, the Nepal World Economic Forum, in which they started by doing what? They invited him here, and they were trying to get ideas from him on how he was able to transform agricultural sector in Uganda. And you see, he made some points here, outstanding points here. Let me just see if you can just pick one or two, then we move to the last video.
What has been your secret for success? And based on your personal commitment, what is your advice to this group as we go forward and say, okay, we've looks like this is working really well. How do we take this to the next level?
The difference is made always by the knowledge you have and the definition of the problem, and what needs to be done and whether you do it. That makes the difference all the time. What we did in Rwanda, our problem was even problem more acute than in many other places. We have a specific situation in Rwanda. It's a small country. The arable land is small, even given the population. Our country is one of the most densely populated countries in the world. 400 people per square kilometer. Now, what do you do with agriculture that the big majority of our people depend on? At the same time, you have this land fragmentation. So what we did, a number of things, even before we attracted investments in this area, was to be clear about our policies and what we intended to do. So we concentrated on land consolidation. We focused on crop intensification. We have gone so far in land registration and making sure that land ownership has been sorted out and can be utilized for agriculture in a very sustainable way. We also made sure then we looked for resources to invest and connect with the farmers who we involved by organizing them and together discussing the importance of agriculture and the benefits to all of us, to them, to our farmers, and as Nadia said by other leaders, the smallholder, certainly the smallholder farmers are extremely important because the aggregation of all that and what they do is in the end what gives the best results. They have as to this importance.
Sorry, I don't know what is the video is finding. I'm finding it hard to play the video, but you can see from what this guy was just dishing out here. They went as far as going to the grassroots, making the local chiefs to be involved, to the extent that they are now seeing it as competition as who will produce the largest share of a particular crops, of a particular agricultural produce and the likes. And that is what we call the healthy competition that should come into agriculture. By the time this particular geographical location sees that, oh, there is reward when you tame your farm produce very well and you produce the largest, and it translates into more money coming into your hands, everybody, including the youth, the adults, even the weaklings, will start getting strength to what? To want to do more in agriculture. But what do we do today? In most African countries, we depend on the foreigners, the Western world, come and feed us. And that, I tell you, is highly pathetic. And what I can just say is that Africans really need to wake up, because we have a whole lot to do, and we have a whole lot of people waiting on us to see if actually in the long run we will turn out to do what we are supposed to do in the right way. So to me, Kagame has tried in this aspect. The other aspect that is dark to the world, the other aspect that is almost swallowing up every good thing about him, is the aspect that we should tread with caution, we should investigate more, we should make sure we have Rwandese. It is the people of Rwanda that should know who Kagame is. It is the people of Rwanda who should tell the whole world or not for one external body, not let me quickly remove the video. Not for one external body. It will not be fair to have one external body or group of persons to be the one painting our brains that, oh, this one is a dictator, that one is a dictator. Please let the people in that country be the ones that are going to tell the world if they like their president or not. Let them have the freedom to choose whoever they want to lead them. Let them have the freedom to determine whether their president is doing them right or wrong, because That was how every Africans were silent till Gaddafi was killed. And it was after the death of Gaddafi that we now see the real chaos that a country called Libya is now going through. Until date, they have not recovered from it. There was this interviewer that came into Rwanda. It was what's the name of this news agency? Al Jazeera reporter came into Rwanda, and while he was talking, he said the same challenge that is going on in the same challenge that went on in Rwanda was what they witnessed in his own country, Sierra Leone. But till date, Sierra Leone has not gotten itself back because there is still much trouble in Sierra Leone as compared to Rwanda. So if Rwanda is adopting a system of governance that might not be palatable to the West, please leave the people that are governed to be the one to determine whether they love the way they are being governed or not. And thank God, Kagame always give it back that you can't come and bully us. That's what he usually say. He has been repeatedly saying it, that you can't come and bully. Now, talking about agriculture, which is one of the outstanding performances made by Kagame's regime, by the Rwandese, because they are doing well in agriculture. I stumbled into a particular lady. It's just a pity that she could not join us in tonight's live stream. She's a graduate of mass communication. This first music that I was playing on this channel, she did that song. Maybe I should just play the song for you any moment from now. She's a music producer. She's an agriculturist. She writes songs. She does a whole lot. Presently, a little story about her is that she even survived an attempt over her life. Somebody tried to kill her in the process of her uprising fame in music. So she had to run for her dear life. The case is still in court now. That's why we're not going to be talking about that. But I ran into this lady. The guy almost slitted, the person that wanted to kill her almost slitted her throat and the likes, but she escaped. But now, instead of being depressed about numerous things, even people that are supposed to help her in her musical career, they were making useless advances at her. Even so many rubbish that this young lady has passed through. Presently, she went into agriculture and she's into snail farming. You need to see. I've not what's it called, I'm trying to link up the video. Maybe when Dr. Ojo is talking, I'll be able to bring up the video. She went into snail farming and she's doing beautifully well. She has thousands of snails that she's hatching, producing, and she's also trying to cultivate pawpaw. She's trying to cultivate pawpaw. She showed us her farm, this thing, and I know Grandma Sweet 16 will like this person. She showed us her farm where she cultivates vegetables, different this thing. There was even this particular tomatoes that is used in taking care of the heartbeat and the likes. And she's just wonderful. So watch out. Next week, I'm going to bring her on this show, on this live stream, and she's going to talk more to us. Now, these are the kind of youth that we should be gathering everywhere. We have them in millions.
The Cetrus Foundation is doing. We are going. That's what the Cetrus Foundation. So you might see that we are always talking about Africa, the African presidents, what's happening in Africa, what the West is doing. It's not that we are just a bundle of complainers. It's because of the passion we have. We want to see Africa grow. And if you want to grow Africa, you have to grow the youth first. And that's what we do here with the help of so many of you, our supporters. We have Dr. Joe here that has always been there for the foundation and all our supporters. So we go to the streets, to the shanties, to the villages. We pick these youths in their raw talent. Like this graduate right now, she has real great passion for agriculture. She said she has a passion for nature, and you see her, she's living at a remote area, as in her father's place, and she just turned the garden, was planting, doing everything. And we are picking such youths that have passion in different things. It's when we build these youths that will groom them on what it takes to build a modern economy. We build them on different crafts. We will be able to succeed. And we want to thank everybody that has been there supporting us, sending us $1, 1 cent, sharing our videos. And we have a challenge now, is the challenge of training training an African youth in a craft by just sending us $1 per month or 1,000 per month, or just sharing, or $10, whatever you can send, so that we will not just be here like this and be complaining that this country is not doing well. And that's why when we saw that Rwanda is doing well and some people are now still talking, it's really a burden to us. Like, for crying out loud, if that was what we said last week, that if the person that was doing well in Nigeria, at least he did well in an aspect, allow him. Is it George Washington that did well in America, and he ran for 2 terms? They pleaded with him to come for the 3rd term. He said, no, he's not going to come, that they are trying to stop what is happening in Great Britain. They cannot repeat that in America. But my husband, we're discussing tonight, and I said, when he left, and all those he left to, what have they even turned America to now? Yes, that's another thing we don't want to go into. So, and the system we need here in Africa is the one that works for Africa. And we just don't want to be complaining about the leaders. We want to do our own share. What we can do, just help a child up the street, help a youth to learn a craft. And that's what we're doing. I'm not speaking. So that's what we're doing, and that's why most of the time we come here, we share different stories just to make you know what is happening in Africa and how we can help the youth. Because if we just keep sharing the stories, somebody came to the hub today, to the studio, and she reminded me of the pictures we took 5 years ago. And she said that time she was 40, now she's 45, and I knew my age that I was 35. Now I'm just saying, before you know it's a decade, before you know it now it's 2 decades. So what have we done? If we're just complaining and we're not helping any youth, we are not transforming lives, we will still come back again. Look at Kagame now, just for 2 decades plus, he's been able to achieve so much. So please, we want to plead with everyone. We want to say thank you, Madam Claudia. Greetings. We appreciate you so much. You've been part of the pillars of this foundation. So the Sectors Foundation is transforming the lives of the African youth, and we pick the neglected but diligent African youth from the street. We ask them the crafts they want to learn. We train them on that craft. We monitor them. And when we see that they are committed, we get them their startup equipment. After getting their startup equipment, we still monitor their progress, and we want to ensure that they are able to sell their skills, their products, their services to the world. So we bring them to the global stage, and that's what we do at the Sectors Foundation. So please, if you can, and for those that have been supporting us, please kindly support us more to affect more of these youths in this at this time that we have the life, we have the breath, and we can still do something. So we want to say thank you to all that have been supporting us prior to this time, and we believe as we work together as a team, we are going to make Nigeria, Africa great again. Even Rwanda is very small. 13 million. Lagos here, where we're living, we are above how many million? It's not, we're above 20 million, thereabout. And
Lagos alone is above 22 million.
Yes. And the whole of Africa, they just segregated us, as in, you see DRC Congo, you see Rwanda, you see this one, small countries that would have just been like the United States of Africa. They don't want us to be together. So please, we are one African continent. Let's see how we help each other, and we help different African youth, not like what happened to Kagame in Rwanda. When he was intelligent, he was not helped because he was not from Rwanda, and that built something in him. So we help any youth you see across Africa that is indigent but diligent. please just send them to us via video chats. Will help them, and we are helping them through all these contributions we're getting. And God bless you.
Okay. So I think I saw Madam Claudia. Madam Claudia, we would like you to join us live, and if you cannot, just continue to give us some chats on the chat group. Dr. Ojo, what are you saying to this?
Yeah, so a lot of lessons for other African countries to learn from Rwanda. It's not a rocket science to build a nation. That's pretty much what they have just said. For them to come out of genocide to becoming the cleanest country in Africa, I think that's really great. So that's something that other countries can also learn from. You don't need to fly to Europe or America, or so you can just really go to Rwanda and see what's going on there and what they are doing and how they are doing it. Partner with them and learn from the technology that they already embrace that is already working for them. They have a methodology for agriculture and planting that is working and is helping them. The other country that doesn't have it can just literally go there and partner with them, or learn or pay for it and get it. So I think it's more beneficial if you patronize your fellow African country and get your problems solved. It's more beneficial than to actually go far away on outside to get what you can get just next door. So that's kind of one thing I want to point out there. And also that it's high time that Africa as a continent need to start focusing on producing what they eat. It's really not good enough for a country that has existed for millions of years, for a continent that has existed for millions of years, or a race, or a a human race that has existed for millions of years that still has to depend on others to be able to feed his or her children. I think that's not really good enough. By now, they're supposed to have broken loose of that, but it's not late. Things can still be done. Only if they gain that awareness and consciousness, they can overcome that challenges. So they need to focus more on growing what they eat. It's very, very important. It's one key aspect of solving the major problem. And to stay focused, and it's very, very important to adopt whatever system of government that help you achieve your goal and objective for the people. As long as the focus is for the people, right, you can't go wrong. That's what democracy is all about, right? The government of the people by the people. So if you work well for the majority of the people, then that's what it is, and then you use that period to strengthen the system until when you're able to actually do it the way other people are doing it, if need be. That has to be understood very clearly, that not just anything can be copied and brought to Africa. It might not work well because it's a different kind of people, different kind of species or human being that are there, very intelligent, very strong, and very bold. It's different. And then I think that's where the real freedom is. Because the reason why some of these systems are working in other parts is because a lot of people have been caged to a corner. They just don't have no choice. They just have to submit and be obedient, right? But in Africa, where the freedom is still there, and they will definitely they definitely speak up or do this and that. It might not work. I'm telling you, it might not work. The border is porous. Population is growing so fast. They've not been able to adopt any kind of technology that can. They won't even. I don't think they even embrace that. That will stop people from populating, which is the commandment of God. It is in line, so they are not doing anything wrong anyway. So the level of freedom is really high there. So something might not work for right now.
So whatever works for the people, if as long as the focus is for the people and it works well for them, I think that's what needs to be embraced and adopted. And whatever good that is being done should be publicized as well. You know, while waiting for a time to now start arguing and debating on what external forces or factors are talking about, you know, the negative things, why not promote the good things that's been done? You know, if Rwanda is the cleanest country in Africa, or one of the cleanest country in the world, publish it. You know, make a video of it, make a show of it, pride yourself in it, let it get into the Guinness Book of Record, do whatever I need to take. So when you do things like that, it suppress the bad ones that always want to focus on the negative aspect. But you know, it's whatever you call yourself that other people will call you. But if you don't call yourself anything, then they give them the freedom to call you.
Call you
And then,
anything.
you are now coming back to defend that, right? But you could have just given yourself a name, you know, and everybody will have no choice than to call you by that name. So that's kind of what I'm saying. If Rwanda is one of the fastest growing country in the world, publish it. You know, publish it. Let them sing about it. Let them brag about it. Let them put it on the media. You know, and use that to overshadow the minor negativity that others are trying to capitalize on. You know, there's nowhere that is completely perfect. There's no system that's completely perfect. Not even the Western nations. They have all their challenges as well. But individual just showcase, you know, the part of their neighborhood, the part of their, you know,
We want you to
environment and
say,
society that is beautiful. You know, so let Africa also begin to do that too. If you have natural resources, and be proud of it, showcase it, brag about it, you know, make video about it. So those are the kind of things that need to be happening. Those are the kind of development. That's how you can orientate and mentor the youth, so that they actually have that sense of belonging and be like, okay, we have this too that, you know, others don't have, and they should embrace and appreciate that, and you know, work more to develop that. So those are lessons that I think should be learned, and Africans should stop waiting for, you know, their messiah from the west or from the east or south, but should rise up and take responsibility. Every of the country in Africa, I think they should start rising up and start taking responsibility, solving their own problems instead of waiting for aid and this and that. There are a lot of things they could do. If Rwanda can get up and end the genocide, it takes one, right? It takes one. It takes one, you know. So this is just a huge lesson to be learned. You know, that credit alone, I think it's more than enough to silence the little agitation that is going on about Rwanda. You know, it takes one. And what Central Foundation is doing is really great. It's a move in the right direction, and it's definitely going to grow, and we're going to continue to support them. We definitely need more people to support, so that, you know, can bring this youth out of the state of neglect and pain, empower them, sustain them, so that they can be a better leader tomorrow. And I think the youth also should be connecting to this kind of platform as well, so they can also learn one or two things, you know, or they should watch it on the YouTube afterwards, so they can gain some knowledge and intelligence as they grow, so they can be a better leader that we can all be proud of. So that's kind of what I think. Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Oju, thank you for that aspect. based on everything that we've discussed today, we are so glad that we're able to some reasonable extent, look beyond paper publication, look beyond one-sided story. We know that no human being is 100% pure in the right word of being pure, especially the leaders across the world. But we also know that Africans should stop, as in killing their rising glory. Stop killing their rising glory. If there is any issue, if at all there is even any issue about Kagame, I would prefer fellow Africans to call in to order. That's just my own thinking. I'll prefer fellow Africans to call him to order, not the same set of people that came in to give the marks. See, my own is very simple. Not the same set of people that came in to give the marks to the Hutus, to the Tutsis, to the Twa, that made them to start seeing each other as not the same. Not the same set of persons should come and tell them again that this is how to behave. No, it doesn't make sense. It's just going to be as if you are an adult and they are teaching you how to wear diaper. Doesn't make sense. You don't need diaper. So with that being said, we really appreciate everyone here. Before we go, I would like to play one of the music that I played earlier before is the music by one of Africa's youth. What's it called? A lady by the name Tiwa. She is into music and agriculture. She'll be here next week, and I'm going to show a video to us. But at this moment,
is it Tiwa Savage?
and it's not Tiwa Savage. This one is Tiwa Banks.
Okay.
This one is Tiwa Banks, and she's been doing a whole lot. If not for challenges that she had, I'm sure by now she would have been at the same level with Tiwa Savage. But we know the best time is when we don't give up. That's when the best time shows up. So this one lady that I would like, wow, where's the song? Okay, let me quickly play a song here. Okay, Madam Claudia is saying something. That's why we need a United States. Oh, Madam Claudia is saying we need a United States. Okay, these are songs coming up now.
Heart, cause your kind of love for me, you know, get command.
Wow.
What they say about you, no matter.
Wow.
Now you matter for my matter. I want a story.
Okay, this is the lady here that we're talking about. Her name is Tiwa Banks. She has been into music for some years now. She was a rising star, and somebody just got jealous and decided to almost kill her by attacking her with broken bottles and the likes. When I did the last interview with her, she had some cuts on her neck and almost being slaughtered while she was asleep, but uh, God saved her, and here she is. She never allowed that situation to destroy her. She never allowed that situation to kill her joy. Instead, she relocated to a remote area, to the remote area, and started farming. And she's still singing. She's doing farming and she's still singing, and she's very, very lovable. She's also training some youth in agriculture, in snail. The aspect she specializes in is snail farming, and she has thousands of snails. She has thousands of snails. So if you are a snail lover, please just reach out to us so that we can link you up. She can be exporting snails to you guys that are out there in whatever country. So this is one of our songs. Let's just see. I hope this network will cooperate.
I give to you my love and all my heart. Cause your kind of love for me no get command. What they say about you no matter. Now you matter for my matter. I want live story I go to yonder. Complain I love you even past my mother. Let's do.
Okay, I think I will stop here because it's like the network is warning us that anything can happen from here. So this is the lady. I'll be bringing her on the show next week, and we're going to have videos that you'll be able to see what she's doing, the snail farming business and the likes. And I tell you, she's a wonderful lady that is not giving up despite despite everything she has gone through, sexual harassment from men that are supposed to be helpful, in times when she was going through challenges, and those that even wanted her dead when she was trying to make ends meet for herself in the world of music. Now she's into agriculture, transforming the lives of the youth, training them on how best to go into productions of snail, SNAIL. Since the pandemic started, I have seen so much domestic violence around the world. Such a beautiful lady, and may she continue to do well. Yes, amen. I pray for her. I strongly believe that we'll have a better network next week, and she's going to be on ground. You're not just going to. She has a lot of singles that she has done. She has done a lot of songs. I've seen so many of her videos and the likes, and we need to meet somebody like this next week as she share her experience in the world of farming, and we will see how some of our youths that will be listening to this across the world can benefit from our experience and our never say die spirit. So with that being said, we are so grateful. We really, really, really love you guys. Dr. Ojo, your parting message this night.
Yeah, thank you guys. And a lot of lessons to be learned from the President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, as regard to how he transformed the country to become what it is right now, despite all challenges. So with that said, I definitely want to encourage all the listeners to rally around the Cetros Foundation to support more. $1 can save a life. 1,000 naira can definitely get a youth out of the street. So we shall continue to support the foundation so we can be able to do more. And I still remain Dr. Ojo, very humble, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
from my hot babe.
I want to say thank you to everyone that has been part of this stream today, and to all that has been supporting us. You shall never lose your reward. We really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you so very much.
Okay, from me, you've heard from Ma, so you've heard from me. Take care of yourself, sleep well. If you don't have anything to take this night, open the fridge and drink water on my behalf.
Dr. Joe is doing something for you.
Okay, sir. Okay, good night, everyone.
All right, good night, guys.
Yeah.